We are excited to have the entire ACE National staff on the line today. Diana Eidenschink will be kicking it off with a national update. Then we'll spend some time talking about program delivery. Andrew Frankel will discuss virtual platforms. Tiffany Milner will talk about our virtual tools and blog. I will be leading the discussion on virtual curriculum. And then we'll spend some time talking about recruitment with Paulette Dallas talking about student recruitment and Zhu Chen talking about mentor recruitment. Stephanie McNeely will then talk about some virtual fundraising with our big ACE Day of Action coming up in just under a month. Monica Warhide will talk about the virtual meeting series that will follow this regional meeting. And then we're going to open it up for question and answer and open discussion. Now I'd like to introduce our ACE National President, Diana Eidenschink, who will start with a national update.
Thank you, Sue. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. The first thing that needs to be said is thank you. Thank you for your persistence, your patience, and your dedication to the ACE Mentor Program. We have faced and continue to face unprecedented times and events in our society. There seems to be more questions than answers as each day passes. What continues to be clear is that ACE is a program that is important and needed for our students, our schools, our community, and our industry. We want you to know that we shared with the Executive Committee the resilience and commitment of all of you and your volunteers. It has been impressive to witness the creativity, flexibility, and overall willingness to move our program to a virtual platform. Most of you have requested advice and guidelines from National as you plan for your fall. During our last call, we shared that the Executive Committee would be meeting and preparing such a plan. The meeting took place last week and decisions were made. The decision was unanimously decided that the ACE Mentor Program will be a virtual program for the fall of 2020. What does this mean? It means that there will be no in-person meetings with our students or special events. The committee does realize that different parts of the country are experiencing varying degrees of closure and did take into consideration that some schools may actually open in the fall. The deciding factor in our decision is that illness, such as viruses, are a clear exclusion on our insurance policy. If something was to happen at a meeting or an event sponsored by ACE, ACE would be on our own to defend it. While it seems that it would be difficult to prove an individual got sick at one of our events, ACE would still need to defend the claim, which could cost money and time. ACE's reputation is very strong and positive in our communities, but one bad situation could hurt us. We did research event insurance and found that no policies will cover issues due to illness. While we understand that some of you were planning events, it is in the best interest for all of us to not take the risk. The committee felt it needed to make a strong decision for the entire fall so that National and affiliates did not sit in limbo waiting to see what happens next. I know if something does happen, such as a vaccine or a major change that opens our society, the decision will be reevaluated. Also, we've heard from some of you that some of the states are looking to pass a hold harmless law. Please let us know if a law is enacted and we will take that into consideration. So for planning purposes, please plan to be a fully virtual program for the fall. We do understand that presenting a virtual program has unique challenges. During this call, you will hear all the preparation that National has been doing to assist you to provide a virtual program. One of the challenges that many of you have shared with us is the issue of technology inequality of our students. We are looking for solutions to the technology issue. One thing that we have done is we have asked our partners, our large firms, to consider donation of their used laptops. We are also looking into the possibility of a donation of hotspots. It would be very helpful to know if any of you are interested in any of these items, such as laptops or hotspots. If anyone wants to speak to me about anything I just shared or interest in technology, I would be happy to set up a call with your regional director and you. For insurance, we did say that insurance was one of the major factors of why we are going virtual. In addition, we are in the middle of doing our insurance renewal. Please know that the entire insurance industry is struggling to keep up with the many changing factors that we are facing in our country. First indication is that we may be looking at somewhat of an increase in the premiums for our coverages. I have no idea what this means, but know that we are working hard with our broker to find alternative carriers and programs to keep the program safe while keeping the premiums reasonable. But I do want to share some good news with you. The staff has asked the board, the national board, to consider a reduction of the annual administration fee. Please realize the annual fee has not changed in the last 5 years. There was some discussion in the past about increasing the fee, but the decision was made to keep it flat. The executive committee did vote to give a credit for the admin fee for the year of 2020. So instead of a fee of $20 per student, the fee for this year will be $10 per student. The staff felt strongly that the national organization needed to assist the affiliates in a reduction of their financial fees. As soon as we know and have some idea of the insurance renewal, we will share it with you for your planning purposes. Know that we're in this together and we're trying to make the very best decision for everyone. As far as items that needed to be updated, the staff worked with the help of our legal team and our insurance broker to update the mentor training and the parent consent form. Both have been expanded to include wording on virtual sessions, including the recording of virtual sessions. For the parent consent form, we have also had the new form translated into Spanish, and it will be available very soon. We were lucky to find a company that was willing to translate documents into other languages. If any of you need the parent consent form translated into an additional language, please let your RD know. Even though our meetings will be virtual, it's important to remember that all the rules still apply. Mentors will need to register, go through the training, and have an approved background check. As with an in-person meeting, if you're planning to use guest speakers while they're participating in a meeting, an approved mentor must also be involved. Students will need to be registered, and they will need to have a signed parent consent form. An additional training, the mentor liaison training, the training that makes sure you, the affiliate, and your mentors have the tool to handle difficult situations, will be presented through a new training tracking tool that has been given to us from our new insurance broker. More information on this will be released in late August. Program report. Reminder that the annual program report has been sent out, and we need all of you to complete the report by the due date of August 14th. The report gives the staff, the board, our partners, and you, the affiliates, a true insight to the workings of the program. It also assists the staff and board as we prioritize our work plan. We appreciate your time and want to make sure you understand the importance of this report. In addition, we will be sending out another survey. As you will see through this call and the future series of calls that will be presenting, ACE has been working hard to develop new tools, hone and update current items, and create new opportunities for our program. We would love to hear from you on the services that we are providing. We will be sending out a survey asking you for your opinion on the things we're doing well, the things that we could be doing better, and anything we might be missing that you would like to see us work on. Please look for the survey and share with us your opinions. One of the services provided by National through the generosity of Engineering News Record is our annual yearbook. The yearbook is in the process of being finalized and will be released at the end of August in an issue of ENR. As in past years, National will be getting a large supply of printed yearbooks. It is our plan to send each of you 100 copies. If you would like more than 100 copies, please let your regional director know by the end of this week so we can make sure that we request the appropriate supply. Again, we are in this together. Thank you for all you do, and we do look forward to a very successful fall, even though we will all be virtual. Thank you, and Andrew Frankel will now take over.
Thanks, Diana. In our effort to transition to a virtual environment, we have went ahead and researched some options for mentors and team leaders to bring the in-person meetings into a virtual environment. We understand that this is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Every team, every affiliate are going to have their own considerations and working within a different landscape, different groups of individuals. So we wanted to provide some options with the understanding that you may have a better option through your company. A team leader might have a virtual platform that's paid for that their company is willing to let them use. Likewise, for those teams that operate in school environments, the school itself might already have a virtual platform they're using that they can extend a license to the team leader to run the team that way. That has the added benefit of student familiarity. Students are likely already using that platform, and there wouldn't be any learning curve involved with that. That said, we wanted to look at the platforms that offered the best features and services to our affiliates at no cost. Of course, there are many other options out there, but we found that of the free programs, Google Meet right now is offering the best features. That program allows up to 100 participants. It is integrated with the Google Suite applications, so you can do calendar invites, Google Docs, collaborate on documents as a team, as well as the email features in Google. It's also relatively easy for outside users to join. I know that's a common issue with a lot of these programs is the time it takes to download and figure out how to connect. With Google Meet, it's a link. There's very little registration issues that come up with that. Also, within Google Meet, there are paid tiers. So the free version includes the features I just discussed. But if you find that you want to expand features, they have a number of different tiers you can pay for, all relatively affordable. And they offer 14-day free trials for their paid subscriptions. So if a team leader was interested, they could try the 14-day trial, and if they like it, they can opt to pay or revert back to the free. Another program that we looked at, much lesser known, is Easy Talks. This is designed specifically for educational environment virtual meetings. So it fosters more classroom style lecture and then breakout participation. Definitely worth looking into as well. Offers a lot of the same free features that Google Meet does, including up to 100 participants and relatively easy access for outside users. It should be noted, and I believe Diana already referred to this, that in this new virtual ACE world, all of the same registration requirements still apply. So any students, any mentors, team leaders, even guest speakers really should be registering in the database, completing all the steps in registration. So for students, that includes the parent consent form that Diana mentioned. And for mentors and volunteers, that also involves the 5-minute mentor training. That's essentially the last step of their volunteer registration. So that still applies to everyone in the same way that it did when we had in-person meetings. Next slide, please. Another feature that we continue to offer to affiliates are Office 365 E1 licenses. These are paid licenses that have been assigned to every affiliate. Traditionally, they've been known for their email account feature, but attached to that email account are a number of other applications and online tools that are available to you through that account. One of the ways that affiliates use it is they set their email account to forward to multiple affiliate leaders. So if anybody emails your affiliate email address, all the designated leaders will see that email come into their inbox. That's a way that a lot of affiliates use that email account to kind of manage the inflow of the messages that they get. You could also log in directly to it and use the email, as the main inbox. So you're sending mail as your affiliate at acementor.org. Some other features that these accounts offer, 1 terabyte of cloud storage with limited sharing and editing with outside users. So we know that a lot of affiliates are using these as their main storage drive for important affiliate documentation, as well as collaborating on shared documents in that environment. And again, you can do this with outside users with some limited features, but you can definitely edit, share documents among your leadership team, potentially even with team leaders as a way to share important documents from the board to the local ACE teams. You also have access to the Office suite applications, including Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. Those are only the online versions with this level of account. If you already have a Microsoft account and you already have the desktops apps downloaded, you can log in as the ACE affiliate and have access to those desktop applications. But this particular E1 license does not come with the ability to download the desktop applications. Some other useful apps that are available to you are Teams. There's a lot of potential with this. You can create a team with your team leaders or fellow board members and have more informal kind of chat-based discussions, as well as screen sharing and virtual meeting. There's also the potential to create, for example, a regional team with your regional director, where affiliate leaders can be in more regular communication, sharing best practices, asking quick questions to the group. These are all possibilities that you can use with this Office 365 account. Another app that I would strongly recommend is the Planner app that allows you to kind of stay on top of tasks, make assignments to team members, track it in a calendar. It allows everybody to sort of stay on top of everything that's going on the affiliate level. So the one thing to keep in mind is that, in a typical work environment, every employee gets a license. With ACE, we've assigned 1 license to each affiliate. So there are some limitations associated with that, but again, you can bring in outside users to a lot of these applications, and they work pretty well for that. With that, I'd like to pass it on to Tiffany Milner, who's going to discuss virtual tools and the ACE blog.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. Okay. ACE National has been working hard to help affiliates make the switch to virtual programming. To make it easier for affiliates to locate all of our new virtual resources, we have created a new section on the ACE Mentor tools called Virtual Tools. This page is separated in various sections that can be easily accessed through a series of menus and links. For starters, we have a brand new calendar to show all of our upcoming virtual summer opportunities for our students. Information on each session can be found by clicking the registration link for each event. This page is also easily accessed under the News tab on the menu. Okay. Within the general information section, we have virtual best practices, virtual webinars, and other virtual resources. Under virtual best practices, we have the brand new parental consent form that Diana was talking about in English and in Spanish versions. The database is actually live and open for registration. So there's a direct link right here under compliance. The mentor training includes updated language to reflect virtual ACE meetings and safety information. The Affiliate Mentor Liaison Handbook is a resource for affiliates in dealing with suspected child abuse and other difficult student situations. And under the communication section, there is information on communicating with students in a virtual manner through text messaging, email, and marketing services, and social media. The All Affiliates virtual meeting from June has been posted and includes the webinar recording, in addition to Q&A in PDF format. For our other resources sections, we have developed a series of virtual backgrounds to be used for your virtual meetings. They're a fun way to stay connected and to represent ACE. Each one can be easily downloaded to your computer and in a zip file, just extract in their JPEG images. Under virtual mentoring, this is where we'll find much of the information that Andrew just covered in terms of the virtual meeting platforms. We also have a section in this area under virtual, specifically for virtual recruitment. And we've gone ahead and selected a few videos on ACE that are helpful for virtual recruitment, and we've actually organized them by discipline. Paulette and Zoo will walk you through the recruitment later in this meeting. Scrolling further down, we have virtual activities. We've just earmarked the 3 sections within the ACE Mentor Tools site that we can find virtual resources. ACE at Home is an opportunity for students to receive information on professional development and industry careers through short, pre-recorded webinars and self-directed activities that can be completed from home. Katie will go further into detail on ACE at Home next in this meeting. The ACE Student Resources Online section is a collection of industry-related information, including career pathways, professional development, post-secondary preparation, alumni information, and self-directed student activities. And our Mentor Resources section is a collection of industry-related information, which includes career pathways, professional development, and these are more specifically mentor-directed student activities. Last spring, the affiliates across the country took the time to celebrate their students and with their fantastic work in our program. We have shared a few video links of affiliates that have hosted their virtual presentations in a virtual format. Virtual fundraising is becoming more and more popular and commonplace today. It offers a number of advantages over traditional fundraising approaches. It can either complement or in some instances, substitute, traditional strategies. This is also where you're going to find the promotional toolkit for the upcoming ACE Day of Action on August 25th. Stephanie will be reviewing this in detail later in this meeting. Promotional toolkit is here. Each of the links will download directly to your computer. And last but not least, we have our virtual news blog. This is real-time information and updates from ACE National. Please visit and subscribe to the blog to receive instant updates on new virtual resources. We are actually updating this site weekly, if not daily at this point. So please remember to subscribe to the blog to receive automatic email notifications when a new resource has been posted. And now I would like to introduce Katie, who will walk you through ACE at Home and our new virtual curriculum.
Great, thank you, Tiffany. As many of you are aware, we released the brand new ACE at Home series in May to help affiliates provide summer learning opportunities that can be completed at home for students. We have continued to release a series of pre-recorded webinars with corresponding at-home student activities on a weekly basis. Each ACE at Home session focuses on a different topic related to professional development and construction industry career exposure. Since our release, we have worked with several affiliates across the nation to develop sessions such as sustainability, essay writing, engineering technology, architectural renderings, and even a virtual construction site tour. Each ACE at Home session has a brief overview of the lesson, a short video with the supplemental challenge, tips and tricks for the lesson, and relevant industry links. Sessions are posted to the ACE at Home webpage and virtual tools and can also be accessed through ACE Student Resources online. In the coming weeks, we will be releasing new ACE at Home sessions on interview skills, portfolio development, and more. Please subscribe to our blog to stay informed of each ACE at Home session as they are posted. This fall, we encourage affiliates who are seeking virtual curriculum materials to browse through our ACE at Home series to find virtual presentations and activities. To help you navigate the many virtual programming resources that we have available on ACE Mentor Tools, we have taken this a step further and created a virtual curriculum catalog. The virtual curriculum catalog is a collection of presentations and activities that can be used in ACE virtual mentoring sessions. This catalog is comprised of a variety of virtual resources on ACE Mentor tools, including mentor resources, student resources, and ACE at Home sessions. It will also include recordings of the many sessions that have been made available to ACE students this summer. The virtual curriculum catalog is organized by topic and can be used to develop or supplement ACE virtual programming, depending on the need of your affiliate. In the catalog, each presentation and activity have live links that will direct you to their location on ACE Mentor tools. This makes it easy for affiliates to browse the available resources and decide what will work best for their affiliate. Affiliates can also use the sort and filter functionality to review the information using a variety of parameters, such as lesson format and activity. For example, affiliates can easily search for activities that are best suited for group versus individual work. Affiliates can also search by online versus printed materials for resources that can be printed and mailed to students at home without computer access. Affiliates can also download a copy of the catalog as an Excel file to use as a template for their own curriculum. When you export the catalog to an Excel file, the links will remain active and connected to their location on ACE Mentor tools. Several columns have been added for this purpose, including a spot for the session date, lead mentor, and presenter, where affiliates can fill in their local program information. Again, the virtual curriculum catalog can be found on ACE Mentor tools in the virtual tools section. We also hope to include a few examples of what affiliates have been developing for their virtual programming. If you are interested and willing to share what your affiliate has developed with other affiliates, please let your regional director know. We will be making updates to this document on a weekly basis and sometimes daily basis, as Tiffany mentioned, so please check back regularly for new virtual activities. And now I'll turn it over to Paulette to talk about student recruitment.
Thank you, Katie. What does student recruitment look like in this year? I'm Paulette, and we'll be talking about ideas for virtual student recruitment. We know this year will be extra challenging in recruiting students, and we are grateful for all of you, your openness to pivot into new territories and hopefully finding the silver linings. Start with consistent messaging from your board, mentors, and students about ACE. Next slide, please. Students, extend your outreach. Virtual extends boundaries to areas previously out of reach. Recruit your past students, the ones that completed and maybe did not complete the program years, as now their schedules may be open and having it virtual will allow them access. Encourage students to bring a friend. Have a sign-up incentive, maybe a raffle. Encourage multiple year participation. Maybe do an extra project this year like the CERT competition. Engage your alumni. This is a great time to check up on your alumni and reach out. We reported that 75% of our alumni would love to have career advice from their mentors, but most of them don't feel they have the contact information or they feel slightly awkward. Partner with other after-school clubs, maybe Habitat for Humanity or diversity clubs. Remember, ACE is unique that it combines all of the construction and design industry, plus teaches on professional development like interviewing, essay writing, and resume building. Talk to coaches. Since sports are canceled, maybe they're looking for something to keep their students engaged. Remember, 95% of ACE students report that their ability to collaborate on a team has improved by participating in ACE. Post on your high school club pages with a direct email link to an affiliate contact. Virtually, a lot of affiliates will be starting later this year. In order to keep your students engaged, use the resources that Tiffany and Katie just reviewed. The National Summer Sessions are another great way to keep them involved. We have a SketchUp, Park in a Truck coming up, a Syracuse ACE only Engineering 101 that talks about different kinds of engineering and how to pick an engineering school. And new sessions will be added, as Tiffany said, almost weekly. The ACE Day 2020, Stephanie will be talking about this shortly. Use your data, let the numbers speak for ACE. Use your surveys for ideas, quotes, and stats. Your alumni, student, and mentors have all reported wonderful things for you to share. 92% of our students say they learn leadership skills, and they report that they learn to work better with people with different backgrounds and ideas from their own. Host a virtual ACE open house. Invite your family, your parents, students, alumni, teachers, sponsors, everyone that you can think of. Also, you can use the ACE Day 2020 for Recruitment Day. Share your ideas, suggestions, and your feedback with your RDs. We love hearing from you. And now I'd like to turn it back over to your RD, Zoo, to talk about recruiting mentors.
Thanks, Paulette. So here are some things to consider when recruiting mentors and volunteers. Number one, this is probably the biggest one. Majority of you on this call most likely got into ACE because of a coworker or someone you know in the industry. So please ask past mentors and volunteers to help recruit from their circles. Two, ask your board members to send out a company memo or for them to speak directly to a company individual. Remember that ACE is a great place to build leadership skills. Three, reach out to sponsor firms. Just a fun fact, companies that have active participants in ACE are more likely to donate long-term. Four, lean on national companies involved in ACE locally. Ask if there are resources that can be shared amongst their office locations that participate in ACE. If you need help reaching these companies in your area, please reach out to your regional director and we'll try to help assist. Five, social media. I know some affiliates do this better than others. If you don't have a social media presence, just start small, one platform at a time, either Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. There's a link on the ACE Mentor Tool site that talks about the social media platforms. So please visit that page. And six, use the ACE testimonial videos when applicable. So the video that we saw at the beginning of this meeting is one example. So try to utilize that because sometimes, you know, the elevator pitch is difficult just coming from one person. And so the video with the testimonials really speak to why ACE is so important, not only in the students' lives, but the mentors, the teachers, and the parents. So utilize the videos where applicable, and most of the video is for, you know, people that are brand new to ACE. So please use that. And for ACE Day of Action, I'll turn it over to Stephanie McNeely.
Thanks, Sue. So we talked about ACE Day of Action a little bit on the last All Affiliates call, and it's been really exciting to see so many of you sharing the good news all over social media. We hope you'll continue to engage your constituents in this day and help make it a growth opportunity for yourself and for all of our affiliates across the country. Next slide, please. As Tiffany showed you earlier in the tool site, there's templates, there's sample emails, and in the order in which you should send them. There's also a sample timeline that's posted to the tool site as well. Please be sure to check out the pro tips document because that's going to give you some suggestions on what you can do ahead of August 25th so that you're prepared for your day. Also, please make sure that you're following at ACE Mentor on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you're following us and you tag us in your posts, we'll be sure to share them on all of our channels throughout the day as well. Finally, as part of our national efforts to support and encourage participation in this day of action, we're coordinating some new videos, some testimonials, and some other special content with our national partners. Keep an eye out for more information on that as we get closer to the date. The next slide, please. When it comes to events, the health and safety of our students and mentors is always going to be the top priority. As we all adjust to fundraising during a pandemic, there are some interesting alternatives to in-person events, and we wanted to share them with you here for your consideration. As I've mentioned on previous calls, I really see this as a great opportunity for us to learn how to move away from primarily event-based fundraising and into a true annual fund development model. While event fundraising is great for networking and making connections, there are some benefits to soliciting just straight donations. For example, event sponsorship is not fully tax deductible, whereas straight donations provide the full tax benefit to the donor. On this slide, I shared with you something I did at another organization called a No Gala Gala, and it's a creative and fun way to ask for gifts without hosting the physical event. That being said, we do understand that events do help mobilize and energize your volunteers, and they help build excitement about your program. So we've put together a few ways that you can maybe hit your fundraising goals while keeping the energy that comes from an in-person event. The first is a virtual golf outing. Participants pay their fees, sponsors pay their sponsorship dollars, and participants have 1 week to complete a round of golf and post their scores. Prizes are awarded and sponsors are recognized online during a virtual awards ceremony. It's also a virtual happy hour or meet and greet. I know this is something many of us have already participated in with our family and friends. I know that I have during the past few months. You can host it in small groups, you can break into teams and play trivia, or as we plan to do for our new national sponsors this year, invite everyone to meet your board members virtually. Each new sponsor can get 1 to 2 minutes to chat with your board members about their firm and why they've committed to ACE, and then the board can talk about why it's so important to stay engaged. Online auctions are also a new and trending form of virtual fundraising. It's just like a regular auction. You receive donations from various local businesses and post photos to an online auction site like BitPal. The good news, I guess, is that we're all in this together. The ongoing pandemic is forcing all nonprofits, especially those reliant on event-based fundraising, to be creative and to adapt to a new reality. We're here to help you. We're here to brainstorm and share ideas and welcome any questions or creative suggestions that you might have. We're going to provide some more information on these and other virtual fundraising ideas during the upcoming virtual breakouts, which I will pass it to Monica for her to talk about that with us now.
Thanks, Stephanie. Even though we're all disappointed we're not meeting in person this year, we're kind of excited about this virtual series of meetings we're kicking off today. We actually think we'll be able to reach more of your board members, committees, and mentors with this format based on the topic. So I'm just going to quickly go through some of the topics and dates that we have scheduled so you can note your calendars. We'll be sending save the dates out for these very soon. And please know that we're happy to schedule any individual follow-up calls after these sessions if requested. So we'll start with fall planning on the 13th. We'll cover more deeply the curriculum, technology, program delivery, recruitment, and the CERT competition. As Stephanie mentioned, the next one will be on fundraising. That's the Friday before the big ACE Day 2020. So we go through some of the things that you can do to celebrate that. We'll go deeper into mentor training on the 27th with resources for virtual, resources for mentor liaisons, and some diversity and inclusion. Then we'll have an administrative session in September. This is one of the required sessions, and what that means is we just need someone from your affiliate to commit to that session so that we can go through the database for student and mentor records, affiliate documents, and all things compliance. Then we'll have another one that's required, which is financials. We'll be asking, as we have in the last years, for financial statements, but we'll go through annual requirements, state filings, which are different in some states, and scholarship management. And then the last 3 sessions will be about annual national programs, details about CMIC, CERT, and Outstanding Mentor Awards, internships and alumni, engagement and management of those 2 groups, and then scholarships, both national, local, and alumni. So please let us know if there's anything that you don't see on here. Just reach out to your RD if you're requesting a session that we have not covered. And again, let us know any follow-up we can do when we're done with these. Thanks so much.
Katie, one question came up that are we able to invite school officials to these types of regional virtual series information that we've noted?
Let me think about that. Yeah, I think that we can provide any of this information with our school officials. You know, we need to be working closely with them as we ramp up to plan for the fall. So I don't see any harm in sharing any of this information.
And then another one that came in is, will guest speakers need to be registered in the database in order to present, even if, assuming they are only attending the one session?
Yeah, that's a great question. In the past, all guest speakers are required to register in the database. They are not required to complete a background check if they're attending only one session. Diana, do we have a policy on that for guest speakers? Do they need to be registered in the database if they're just participating in one virtual session?
It would be preferred, it would be a best practice, but if they're only participating truly in one session, if they're not in the database, it is fine. But we would like to be able to collect the information on anyone who is participating.
Another question that came in, it says, it was stated that we will be virtual for the fall session. When will it be determined if next session will be virtual?
So the national board meeting is October 19th. At that time, the executive committee will be evaluating what the next step is. Again, unless something major happens between now and October, it'll be October.
Are most affiliates planning to do weekly sessions or every other week?
I'd love to open that up for discussion. What I've heard so far in different affiliates plannings is that affiliates are planning to move to a weekly format because we have recommended that the session time be reduced from 2 hours to 1 hour because students are going to be, a lot of students will be in virtual learning all day. So to help keep their attention, we're recommending shorter sessions. And therefore, we've seen lots of affiliates looking to meet every week as opposed to every other week.
The next question, is there a way for a guest to register without doing the training? That is usually the deterrent to our guest speakers registering when they are only attending one session.
That's a great question. We do not have a way for a guest to register without doing the training right now. That's certainly something that we can look into, but we don't have that capability right now.
Here's another one that's coming in. Katie, I love the idea of integrating teams to discuss regionally as we start making a plan for our next program year. Would we be able to organize a phone call either with the other affiliates in our state, affiliates similar to the same size, as to start collaborating on a small scale? Less of a question, more of something to put out to the group if anyone is interested.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. If anyone is interested in collaborating with other affiliates, either in your region or at a similar scale as you, please send me a note so that I can gauge that interest and I can start to schedule calls. That's the other idea behind the virtual series as well, is that we can start to have some smaller breakout groups during those to facilitate more intimate discussion between affiliates on some of the more detailed programming topics. So send me a note if you are interested in being connected with other affiliates. And I will start to schedule some of those calls. I can just read a couple of the Q&A that was answered during the sessions, Paulette.
Okay.
Is the mentor training still part of registration, or do we need to use the slides that are in the mentor toolkit? The mentor training is still part of the registration, and we provided the slides in the virtual tools just as a quick and easy reference to access the mentor training. Another one that came in early in the session, did I understand correctly that the mentor liaison training virtual will not be available until March 2021? That training is being finalized with the new platform that Diana mentioned. We're finalizing it this week and we'll be releasing it to affiliates in August next month. So look out in the next couple of weeks for an email on how to complete that training. As a reminder, we need one person from every affiliate to complete the affiliate mentor liaison training.
Here's another one. In past years, we've received a fact sheet with national stats, numbers of affiliates, mentors, students, et cetera. Will we receive this for the 2019-20 season?
I can answer that. That will be provided after we receive all the program reports. So that's the information we're relying on our affiliates to submit to us, and then we'll take a few weeks to put it all together and share it with everyone.
If the class time is reduced to 1 hour a week, does the length of the entire ACE season increase, or are we completely reducing the length of the ACE program?
That's a great question. I think there's going to be a certain level of flexibility among each affiliate and, you know, the current bandwidth that they can handle for the upcoming program year, given that this is such a big change. I would say as a best practice from the national standpoint, we would still strive to achieve those 14 sessions, you know, roughly 30 program hours or so. If the traditional format was 14 or 15 sessions with 2-hour sessions. So I would say still strive to fit in that 30-hour program, whether it's in the fall, in the spring. Some affiliates are considering doing just a couple of virtual sessions and really ramping up the program in the spring. Many affiliates, you know, mostly focus on the spring anyways. So to answer the question, the length of the ACE season really depends on what your affiliate has done in the past, but we're certainly seeing affiliates considering, starting later and possibly going later into the spring as well. I'd be happy to talk with you about the specifics, what your affiliate is thinking and planning, but that's a general guidance we have on that.
Katie, I just jump in on that. Is we also have heard some affiliates looking at it as almost two different programs, doing a virtual program that's very much contained in the fall and kicking off sort of the traditional program after the first of the year. We understand that the numbers are going to be a little bit different this year, and know that if you register students in the fall, your database stays open. So you could actually register additional come January if you're going to, hopefully when we're back to in-person meetings. So, talk to Katie, talk to me. We're happy to work with all of you, but know we understand, and we have told the board that the numbers are going to look a little crazy this year. And it is okay to do 2 separate programs if that's the easiest way. One of the things that I heard from one of the affiliates is that their fall is going to be really focused on returning students, and come January will be when they will recruit more new students.
It looks like we've got a couple more questions coming in. Does the new permission slip cover recording our live sessions? Diana, can you confirm? I believe we have included language in there to cover live and recording.
Yes, basically the permission slip gives us the right to use their image, including recordings.
Do you have information on affiliates with multiple chapters and multiple teams providing one virtual program for all chapters and teams, or are they breaking it up into virtual programs at the chapter or team level? That's a really great question. The few affiliates that I've spoken with thus far that have already given some thought and made some decisions around that are actually approaching it in both ways. Some affiliates are using this virtual opportunity to connect with students in a larger group that transportation and other reasons have limited that in the past. We do have some affiliates that are going to be maintaining their traditional teams that they've held in the past when meeting in person. So there's a couple different options here. I think it is a great way to connect students that in the past have not been able to meet with each other and connect with each other. Reach out to me. I can certainly provide you some more specifics about what other affiliates are doing. But for the virtual format, we're seeing that both options, I think, will be functional for this virtual platform. The last comment or question that came in is we were considering a fall of virtual presentations and possibly field trips, socially distanced. I guess the field trip stuff is out unless field trips are virtual. Yes, field trips will not be allowed in person for the fall based on the insurance information that Diana presented earlier. We do have a trip information already up on the virtual tools, and we know that affiliates are going to be sharing virtual field trips that they are planning themselves locally, and we hope to share a lot of that information. So virtual field trips are a great idea, but in-person field trips, unfortunately, will be out for the fall.
All right, how about we just start on some of the questions that came in on the question box. Let's start with the one here. It says, do ACE events for mentor recruiting, we usually do a couple of happy hours, also need to be virtual this fall? Yes, the short answer is yes. I think Diana kind of alluded to that earlier about events associated with ACE. We just don't have the liability insurance to cover any of those events. So yes, the answer is we have to make it virtual. Could affiliates choose to hold to see what happens, possibly beginning in-person meetings in the winter, maybe January 2021? Yes, a lot of affiliates will be starting later in the year. So we'll just have to closely monitor what's going to happen once the new year starts. Right now, we're mandating all virtual events through the end of the year, but we'll just see what happens, and we'll obviously update everybody if that changes for 2021. Let's see. What has fundraising been like for the Southeast region affiliates? We did about half our usual 18,000. I would say it's going to be definitely different this year and challenging. What I've heard from a lot of affiliates is they're lowering some of their tiers dollars just to accommodate what's happening with COVID this year. So I think, to your point, I would anticipate lower numbers this year.
Does the requirement for all virtual events include board or committee meetings too?
Yes. It basically means any in-person meeting. I just want to go back to the fundraising question. What we have seen across the country is that some have seen a reduction in their fundraising. Some have seen a pretty flat with their fundraising. And what it really is making sure you're not afraid to reach out to your funders, even though you're not having events, and remind them the importance of our program, the importance of supporting our program. Some of your partners may pay for the pizza in a traditional year, and there's not going to be pizza. So perhaps you could ask them, instead of the pizza funding, would they write a check? Some firms may buy supplies traditionally. Maybe they'd be willing to write a check. But I think the biggest thing that we need to remember is we cannot be afraid to ask. All they can do is say no. So a question that came up on the last one was whether or not affiliates are doing their teams individually or if they are doing it as one session. And the answer was both, but there are a number of affiliates that are looking at their fall as sort of program one and the spring or the January on as program number 2. We understand that the numbers are going to be a little off this year. And if you want to look at it as 2 separate programs, that's fine. There are affiliates that are basically focusing in the fall on the returning students and doing it as a affiliate-wide program.
Looks like Nashville shared some information on their fundraising. It says Nashville's fundraising was slightly down, but we were able to reallocate budgeted funds from our banquet and transportation allowances to make up the difference. So thank you, Nashville, for sharing. Another question, any updates on website development, affiliate pages? I would say most of our updates have been on the ACE Mentor Tools page with all the resources. On the affiliate pages, please reach out to your regional director if you want to make any changes. We're always here to make affiliate page changes. So please mark up what you have currently and send us any markups. Do we anticipate a general reduction in student participation in ACE for the upcoming year? Diane, you want to answer that?
Yeah, I mean, yes, we do. And it's because the sort of the uncertainty of what each of our schools are going to look like and what after school programming is going to look like. We have prepared the national board that our expectation is that our student numbers may be down in the fall. What we hope is that by January 2021, we can go back to the cornerstone of our program, which is the in-person meetings, and we will see that number increase. But what the message we gave to the national board and the executive committee of the national board is they need to remember that we need to be very flexible and we need to figure this out as we go along. So we don't know what the numbers are actually going to look like. And if there's a reduction, there's a reduction.
Yeah, I mean, we alluded to it a little bit earlier. I think a lot of affiliates are leaning on their past participants because we have that data in the database. I think the challenge is reaching new students, right? So Paulette gave some tips on that. For example, CDCs and possibly posting on the school webpage so that parents and students are aware that a program exists. Remember that we also aren't in competition with a lot of other after school activities like sports. So it could be that, you know, we are shocked and then the numbers are more than we expect. So.
Yes, so the first question has to do with insurance. Will there be a reduction in insurance fees due to the limited exposure of virtual meetings?
So no, there is not a reduction of exposure. The insurer feels that exposure, whether we're in person or virtual, is the same. So there will not be a reduction based on that. Again, we're in the middle of our renewal. I don't know what the premiums will look like.
Okay, the next question is, are we, and I thought this was a good question, and this hasn't come up before, are we required to monitor students who share online access with others who may not have signed a parent consent form?
Jeff, I think what you're referring to is what the students do outside of ACE sessions. If they're in ACE sessions, part of the requirement would be that all of the students in those sessions do have signed parent consent forms. That might be more of an issue with the schools. I don't know if anyone else has any ideas on that. Jeff, if that didn't answer your question, please go ahead and type back in, or we'll include this in the Q&A if there's further.
Yes, well, so the question was, is everybody needs to sign up to, you know, the parent registration form. So my question was, is if a student shares access to that, are we supposed to try to monitor those that have not filled out those consent forms yet? That was the root of the question.
So potentially ACE students that just don't have the signed consent forms and sharing information from the website?
Correct. Since we're going all virtual now, we we know who the kids are in years past who show up and everything and have signed consent forms. But if all of a sudden we get 200 people online, we're not going to be able to know who's signed up or who's not signed up that shared that information. It's come more of a policing issue.
It's a great question. Diana, do you have any input on that?
Yeah, so this did come up in another discussion of the fact that it will be very easy for kids to share things with each other. And there was some discussion of making the toolkit password protected. And the only way to get the password would be to have an active account within the registration of our database. So it is something that we are looking at. I'm not sure I know the answer yet. If anyone else has some suggestions, let us know.
I think he's also asking about if the student shares the information on the meeting invite. So that if the meeting invite goes out, many people can join without them knowing who they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a very good question. Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's going to be a policing thing. I know that's going to be difficult. I know we talked about having these main session that is with everybody, and then you have these virtual office hours where it's smaller groups. And I really hope during the smaller groups is where you can really police who's in the program.
So we'll know, like you say, if our Dallas program has 100 kids signed up and everything, and then the first night we get online, we got 200. It's like, wait a minute. So that was just a question. We'll do what we can.
And I think all you can do too is reiterate. I know probably the first meeting is going to be, it could be a lot of folks. So just reiterate during the call that if they're now registered, they have to register to continue the course.
Understood.
And many of the programs have waiting rooms too. So maybe when it breaks into smaller groups, you've got your team lead who's really monitoring who comes in and who doesn't. It looks like another question Leah has is, will student recruitment also need to be virtual? Yes, everything this fall is virtual.
Okay, then some new questions have come in. You mentioned virtual golf. Are we allowed to have an event that allows foursomes to play at varied times? This seems like it still may be a liability risk for ACE.
I had a conversation with our lawyer this morning, and he is softening on this and is saying that this idea of us saying go and play golf, as long as we are not bringing them all together, he does feel comfortable that we could do this. He is right now drafting a waiver that would have to be used, and any person playing golf would have to sign that waiver, making sure they understand that they're playing golf at their own risk and not at the risk of ACE mentor. So I should have that form hopefully either today or tomorrow, and we will get it out to you.
Then the next one, with regard to virtual tools, are the ACE at home sessions intended to be rolled out individually or as a mass link? And has there been any insight relative to engagement with one method or another?
Yeah, I can answer that, Paulette. The ACE at home sessions are intended to be rolled out individually. They don't necessarily need to follow any particular order, but we have included information on them so that you can easily figure out where it might plug into the schedule that you're developing for this year. You certainly could consider sending it out as a mass link and encouraging students to look at everything at once, but the way that it was designed was to allow you to have students working on one session at a time in subsequent weeks. If you get into it and have excitement or engagement from students using it in a different way, we'd love to hear from you so we can provide that feedback to other affiliates.
I think some affiliates are using it to supplement their curriculum. Obviously, by the end of the summer, we might not hit every single topic, but go through and decide which ones will be applicable for your year. And then what affiliates are doing is they're playing the video during their session and maybe talking a little bit more in detail about the video and getting the students to ask questions about the video as an option.
So, but I guess the intent then is for registered students to see that, as opposed to using those as some sort of a teaser exercise to build interest outside of the program.
I think either of those can work.
Okay, the next question. Zoom and other platforms offer the ability to do breakout sessions for smaller teams of 3 to 4 students. Will ACE provide best practices for risk management for mentoring with small breakout sessions? Do the small breakout groups need to have 2 mentors to prevent the one-on-one interactions that were not previously allowed?
So the preferred would absolutely to be having more than one mentor on a session. I will be candid and say I have not gotten a very clear indication from our insurer yet whether one-on-one is allowed. We brought up the fact that there could be times where follow-up could be on a one-on-one basis. Also know that it's not just, the preferred would be 2 mentors, but as long as there's multiple students and 1 mentor, that would be okay as well. So the idea is just to not have it one-on-one so that it doesn't ever turn into a he said, she said.
We are the recipient of a golf tournament. Does it have to follow these guidelines? And maybe Erin, maybe you want to, I'm not exactly sure what that should mean.
I think if AGC has a golf outing and ACE is a beneficiary of that, can they receive that donation if AGC did not follow the same guidelines that ACE has placed?
Yes, as long as we are not presenting it, we can take donation. It has nothing to do with the event.
Great. And then another question came in. Some of recruiters are school are employees at the school. Is it okay for a school employee to recruit on behalf of ACE?
Yes.
Question though, Diana, I know as Stephanie mentioned the virtual golf. I have a few affiliates that are very interested to hear some of the golf updates that you were talking about earlier. If you could please talk a little bit about that.
So I had a conversation with our lawyer this morning about virtual golf. And basically it seems like we can do virtual golf. Everyone would have to sign a waiver that they are golfing on their own and are taking on the risks themselves. What's really important is it's got to be considered a virtual event and allowing the golfers to golf, separately and not have any gathering. So if anybody wants to talk about that, I would be happy to get on a call.
Great, thank you. The next question is on the insurance. So you stated that the reduction is for 2020. Is that for the school year 2021 or just for this past school year, 1920?
So basically it's the school year of 2021. So the insurance bills cover the full school year. So the insurance premium will cover the entire school year. The admin fee will be for the school year as well.
And this is a question about the virtual meetings. I'm not sure the answer. Monica, do we have a time set for these meetings yet? Are they on the calendar?
We don't yet, but since they're nationally attended, we'll likely do something in the middle of the day to make it convenient for all time zones.
Perfect. And they will be recorded as well. So you
Absolutely. Yeah, they'll all be recorded. And those dates and times will be sent out in save the date format or early next week.
Perfect. And Diana, just to confirm with that update, Portland is good to go with their golf.
I won't say they're good to go yet. We do need to talk because they do have to use a specific waiver.
Perfect. Okay, we'll schedule a call with them directly. Thank you. This next question comes from Wes, and I'll answer it after I read it. Since the mentor training has been revised, do all returning mentors have to take the new training? The answer to this is yes, because all of your mentors have to register in the database, so they will have to go through the mentor training. Someone went through the mentor training the other day and it said they took them 4 minutes. So it was very, very fast. I was on a call. I think there were probably 5 board members that actually finished that registration right on that call. I didn't even realize that they were away. So it's very, very fast. And yes, all of your mentors need to be registered in the database and with the background check if they're going to be around the students more than one time. All right, this is a question about the ACE Day of Action. Who is the target? If you don't have a social media present, what can you do for this? Stephanie, you want to give just a quick add a little bit more to your Day of Action presentation?
So the target audience, the great thing and the reason we called it Day of Action instead of Day of Giving or something else like that is because it should really be whatever call to action that you need. So if you're needing to recruit mentors, needing to recruit students, or needing to fundraise, you can tailor it to any of those actions. If you don't have social media, I would say maybe like Zoo said, start small and maybe get one platform up and running, which we're happy to help you do. But also there's some email samples up there, so you can email anybody that's in your database, whether it's former students, current students, parents, whomever, alumni, whomever it is, and you can send the emails that way with links to give or to register if that's your call to action.
Great, thank you. And Gita, I'm happy to jump on the phone with you and come up with some plans, or if anybody wants to have a call, I'm happy to schedule a call for that, just to help everybody with their posting or if they have any questions.
Yeah, and I can help too.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That looks like it might be it for questions. Just to confirm, someone was talking about mentor recruitment events, and yes, these are all virtual at this time until anything changes.
So thank you all for taking the time today. We're really excited about the tools that we have, and we're really excited about all of the passion that you all have and the hard work that you do. So we're very optimistic that this fall it's going to look a little bit different. It's going to be a little challenging, but we certainly think it's going to be successful. So thank you all very much, and have a great rest of your day.